Sonic 1. It's alright. I'm in the middle with this one. It's not really a bad game, but it's not as good as a game like Sonic 3 and Knuckles. But I would be lying if I said I enjoyed the game a lot less than Sonic 2. I've seen plenty of people talk about their criticism of the game, and to be honest, a lot of it is true. The levels are extremely wacky. Having Green Hill immediately follow up with Marble Zone isn't exactly the easiest conversion into platforming from speed. The enemy placements and not being able to see what's ahead seems to be the worst of the classics. But there is one thing people constantly beat this game down on that I truly do not think it deserves, and that criticism comes in the form of a whole zone, and that is, of course, Labyrinth Zone. Okay, I do still believe that there's some stuff wrong with Labyrinth Zone. Firstly, let's say you're playing Sonic 1 and you're trying your best to collect all the 6 Chaos Emeralds. Well, if you fail to get the Chaos Emerald one time from the very start of the game, you get all because now you have to collect 50 rings and keep them all until the end of the level. And this has to be one of the most infuriating things that has ever been done in a classic Sonic game. They decided to put an enemy that you quite literally can't avoid in front of a bubble column. This part is not only really close to the end, but you're pretty much guaranteed to have a bad time there. The only way for you to even be able to pass this place is by speedrunning your way through while holding your invincibility, which is earlier in the level. Enemy placement and those spikes can be absolutely insane here. To me, if you miss a Chaos Emerald maybe in Spring Yard or Marble Zone, don't try and get it in Labyrinth Zone. Do it in Starlight, although that's also unfairly difficult in some places. Another big problem with Labyrinth Zone is surprisingly the boss fight. In my opinion, it's not the fight itself. I think it's actually a really fun test of skill. It's that if you die once, you have to either A, start from the entire level all over again, which is what I did, or B, start from the checkpoint before the climb and only have one shield to help you with the fight. No rings. I don't even know what happened. How can you not put rings before a boss fight when you literally put one before every other boss in the game except for the final boss? This is probably why a lot of people really don't like the boss fight, because they essentially get one shot to do the climb with rings. Mostly the problem with Labyrinth Zone is because of the bad enemy placement and the lack of rings in some specific places. Now that all the factually bad stuff of Labyrinth is done, let's get into some good things about Labyrinth Zone. Yes, I like underwater physics, and no, I'm not taking it back. But that's for a bit later. For now, let's talk about the less controversial thing, the music. To be completely honest, the entire Sonic 1 soundtrack is extremely underrated. Every other classic Sonic game, there's one track that sucks. Sonic 2 has Metropolis, Sonic CD has the entire US soundtrack, and Sonic 3 has Marble Garden. But Sonic 1 has, in my opinion, one of the most consistent soundtracks in the classic games. And Labyrinth is most certainly one of the best songs of the classic Sonic games, but it really shines on its own game as the best non-boss song of the game. The music in Labyrinth Zone is so good, it really got me like, let's talk about the more controversial stuff. The most prominent problem with Labyrinth Zone that I see plenty of people talk about is how you're slow underwater and how it breaks the pace of the game. Personally, I don't think people understand the consequences of not having slower movement. If you had normal movement, you would be slipping and sliding and getting hit more than you already are. Normal physics combined with those speeds would not be ideal, and I can bet you'd hate the level more than you already do. The jumping underwater does feel a bit slow, but it's nothing too acceptable for some people to dog on the level like this. Another problem people face is drowning, and to be completely honest, I didn't drown once during the playthrough, except for the one time for community purposes. The people who hate this game with a burning passion try to play this like Green Hill, which would end up being you bumping into everything up and down. If you see an air bubble, wait for the bubble to come up so you can breathe. You always have less time than you think you do, so just stay and wait for a bubble. Try not to get hit. Try to optimize your invincibility shields. Try to keep your shield, wait for the spears to retract, and wait for the right time to get hit by the Gorgon thing or whatever. Just get good. I'm sorry, but you guys make it seem like it's the worst thing in the world, when in reality, it's not that bad. It's hard to face, but Labyrinth Zone isn't bad. You are. Now, this is total nonsense. You can literally skip the entire level by skipping the elevator. And to be honest, I've only gone through the normal way once. You can literally do it in 30 seconds. There's absolutely nothing for you to be complaining about. There's not much to say. It's not that hard. You guys stop overreacting. It's not that hard. Come on. It's not that hard. All in all, Labyrinth Zone is good. You have a skill issue, and it's 8 out of 10. Bye. Okay, hi guys. I didn't actually mean you guys have a skill issue. There's probably some of you there that are better than me and still don't like this game. But this game and this level. So I'm just trying to say that you guys are overreacting. It's not that bad. You guys make it sound like some of the later like Sonic levels I was talking about. It make it sound like, oh no, this level is so bad. Oh my goodness gracious. If you guys should be dogging on any level, it should be Spring Yard. That level is boring. It's slow. Like, not the even kind of slow that Labyrinth is, where there's stuff to avoid and stuff. This is the kind of slow where you're just waiting for blocks. Nobody talks about Spring Yard the way they talk about Labyrinth Zone. See, Labyrinth Zone is a good level, and I'm gonna defend it with my life.